Bizarre Brain Comics. The Dark Librarian. Oh! Oh, hello. Oh, hello, my comic book fiends. I am the Dark Librarian. And here for Bizarre Brain Comics, where I tell tales of terror. Oh, yes, and I hope you get to enjoy the spine-tingling sensation crawling up your back. Ooh, it might be Mr. Bone. Oh, and you feel a throbbing in your brain, in your head. Oh, it might be my friend Yorick here. Speak, Yorick, speak. Oh, he can't. He has no tongue. And so, this time our terror tome is Grimm's Ghost Stories, number 43 from 1978. Oh, and if you see here, it looks like Mr. Bones is on the cover. Yes, Mr. Bones is on the cover. Do you play a part in this, Mr. Bones? No, not you? Just some of your relatives. Okay, yes, some of your relatives. Okay. Mr. Bones is done with the joking around. Yes. So, let's get together and get ready. And take a look inside the pages of Grimm's Ghost Stories. Oh, yes. Our terror tome is this time the 48-page issue, Grimm's Ghost Stories number 43, 1978. And Grimm's Ghost Stories, for those who may not know, is an anthology title featuring mystery, spooky, and suspenseful stories by a variety of creators, which ran for 54 issues between 1972 and 1979 on a bi-monthly basis. And it it does have a horror host. Yes, that is, you can see her visage right here, and I have done one right there. That's Hepzibah Grimm, and she is sometimes assisted by her black cat, Satan. Okay, Leo Dorfman, creator of DC Comics Ghosts, also wrote similar stories for Gold Keys mystery titles, including Grimm's Ghost Stories. And on just a side note, because while I was doing research, I thought this was so interesting, but not directly related to this, is that author Diana Gabaldon, author of the best-selling Outlander series of books and now TV show, began her career at Gold Key, writing on this stuff. And even comedy writer Jerry Belson, who was a co-writer with Gary Marshall, who they wrote for the Dick Van Dyke Show, the classic Dick Van Dyke Show. He wrote some of the comedy material for Gold Key, Gold Key's humor titles. That has nothing to do with this, but I thought it was interesting. So it shows that there's some pedigree there. An established and best-selling author, and she started writing this stuff. So you can see here we got the. This is unusual because it is a photo cover, actually more of a photo collage or a photo montage. of our skeleton with a spooky looking, eerie looking, out of focus background photograph of a forest fire, but just looks like flames. So it does give it kind of an eerie look. But you look closely, you can see it's a forest fire. Okay, and I said 48 pages. They increased the size. And whoom, here we go. Another Hostess comic book ad. This has Spider-Man versus the Chairman, which was someone created entirely for this. But notice he looks just like, at least he's dressed just like the Penguin, without being plump and with his cigarette holder. So we're not going to go into this first story much, but just show this is at this point in time they were doing credits, which is good. And I think all of these stories were new. Written by Paul S. Newman, who we've mentioned several times here, with art by Frank Boll, who we've also mentioned several times here. This is about a lady who just recently, her and her husband, bought some property right next to an old English castle. She goes to look at the ruins, and she runs across a ghost who just seems to is so enchanted with her and gives her some flowers. She goes home, tells her husband, they go back, look some more, but he doesn't show up until her husband leaves. And she commented that this guy is so romantic, not just his appearance, but what he says and all this other stuff. But she says his voice sounds like him, her husband. And so she goes back. She's even drawn a picture of him. And they go again. No sign of him. And he pops up. Then finally she goes back. She's trying to decide whether she loves the ghost or her husband. And they get in an argument. She goes back. And then here he is again. And this is when she says, "No, it's not. I can't come stay with you because, well, one thing, you're dead, but I love my husband." And he reveals himself to be her husband. All the other times it was the ghost, but this time it was her husband in disguise. The Method Actor. This is a story this is by D.J. Arneson, art by Luis Dominguez. And this is a story that is very similar to a story that was in the Boris Karloff Tales of Mystery that I did last time, about an actor who, trying to get a part for a ghost, is turned down, is accidentally killed or is killed, and then shows up as the ghost, and then they want him to do the part. Here's the one I was going to show you here. The Walking Bones, in honor of Mr. Bones and Yorick. Oh, here's Yorick right here himself, as written by Arnold Drake with art by Joe Certa. And this is when Satan is playing with Yorick right there. And this takes place in 1850 in Greece. And these Greek workmen, they're working for a British colonel who is a retired colonel and is an amateur archaeologist, and digging up all kinds of artifacts. And this one guy, he just discovered the skull that goes with the rest of the bones that had previously been discovered. But the one guy, Iakis, discovered the skull, Takis, I mean. But Spiros, he says, put it back. It mustn't disturb the bones of the ancients. It'll bring evil, etc., etc. And Takis hopes to get a little bonus for finding the skull, and then he plays a trick. That night he goes and gets all the bones that they had collected, and while Spiros is up, because Spiros is very, very superstitious, he puts all the bones together, basically assembles them in Sparrow's cot. So when it's time for him to go to bed, he pulls back the blanket, and there is the skeleton. Then we see, it just shattered his mind. And the colonel and his people are so angry. And Takis, who was hoping to get a bonus, gets fired instead. And he gets fired because it was just a joke. I had no idea this would happen to him. Then he goes he leaves. He goes and he's stewing, and he drinks and drinks. Gets so drunk that another night he goes back to the dig, and he gets all those bones of that one individual, and he's riding his little donkey around, and he is throwing the bones away around all different places around the site, so that the colonel will never find all those bones again. And after he's done that, he's riding back and goes, "Woo, put back the bones, put back the bones." The skull is levitating and starts chasing him, and all the other bones come together till it's a skeleton chasing. And he's screaming, and the colonel and his people they hear the ruckus. What is going on? They rush out, and there they find Takis dead, with the articulated bones of the skeleton laying next to him. So, the poor fellow, he died of fright. And he goes, "What made the bones rise?" "That's one mystery we might never unlock. Not without a skeleton key, eh, Satan?" Another one, split personality, about a dead woman's spirit possessing her cousin until she forces the widower to admit that he had actually killed his wife, and then he's hauled off. Then Old Ghost's Home. Now I forgot to mention the creator. Take advantage of it, since they sold, settled, and did that. Written by George Kashdan with art by John Salato. It's all some really nice artwork in here. It's not as dynamic as you'd get from Marvel or DC, especially at this time, but there's very solid storytelling and great draftsmanship, very slick, very professional work by these artists. Old Ghost's Home. And here's about this old guy. He looks in an old folks' home. He's stuck in a wheelchair. Keeps asking the date when the right date comes. It happens to be the birthday of his nephew and heir. And he appears to the nephew and says, but yes, the old man is actually dead. And he recounts his death. Then the old ghost of the old man forces his young nephew through the window, and he plummets to his death. And now they are together in the old ghost's home. Another one by Mark Lasky. I wonder if he's related to David Lasky. Art by Joe Brzezowski. And not going to go into that one at all. And then our final one is our cover title, Sam the Skeleton Man. Again, written by Arnold Drake, with art by Jack Sparling. We all know Jack Sparling from a lot of Marvel and DC work, especially DC work. But he did a lot of stuff for Gold Key as well. And this is Sam the Skeleton Man. He is a circus freak. He was born with some kind of a birth defect, and he is very thin and skeletal. Well, here he is, and he works in the circus sideshow. And here he is. He's about to retire, and all the sideshow freaks, etc., are having a party for him for his retirement, and they all just love him. And he's saying how he's going to put down roots. He saved his money his whole career. He's going to buy. He doesn't believe in banks, so he has all his money in cash stashed somewhere, and he's going to buy him a little house with cash, and then his brother's going to come and live with him. So there he is. This one guy who has only been with the circus for a few months. But he kind of likes Sam, and he has an open invitation. Anybody, when you're in the neighborhood, come and visit me, come and stay with me. So off he goes. Then some weeks later, he's decorating his new house, putting up the posters from the circus, posters of all his friends, and it is that newer fellow, Willie, and he said, "Come on in, Willie." He said, "We're in the off season now, and I thought on my way home, and I thought I would stop and pay a little visit." But it turns out he's all that is true. But since he heard about all that money, he wants that money, that cash, and he says if he doesn't believe in banks, then it's got to be cash around here someplace. And he's looking all over the place. Then it strikes him. Oh, I bet you it's guarded by his circus friends. And yep, all the money is taped to the backside of the posters. Sam here's the ruckus, comes to check it out, and is accidentally punches himself onto Willie's knife and is killed. Of course, Willie is frightened. He goes out and he quickly buries Sam's body. He comes back in and he's horrified because he realizes this is just his conscience, but all the posters of his friends are accusing, and they've come to life, and they're accusing him. No, it's just my imagination. He goes to run out and opens the door, and well, there's Sam. There's Sam here. No. He runs out into the storm, into the rain. No, get away from me. You're dead. No, wait. I saw you die. He runs and runs and runs till he blindly, and he slips and goes to fall off the edge of this cliff. He's just hanging on for dear life. And then it's what appears to be the ghost of Sam comes and reaches for him. Says, "No, don't touch me, Sam. I'd rather die." And here we see Sam, but I'm not Sam. I'm his twin brother Dan. Now grab my hand. And he won't do it. He slips and falls, plummets to his death. Ah! So what kind of ghost story is this? Yes, this is a ghost story that had no ghost in it. The only ghost was the ghost in this man's mind. But so that's it for Sam the Skeleton Man, Grimm's Ghost Stories. And when did I lose focus? Sam the Skeleton Man, Grimm's Ghost Stories. A lot of fun. I've got another one I'll do in a few weeks. But I hope you enjoyed that, in spite of losing some focus in there. I don't know when I lost focus, because it was focused earlier. So I hope, in spite of that, you can still enjoy our ghosty tales. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, and subscribe. Do leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of the Gold Key horror and mystery comics. Ghost stories in particular. What have you? Do you like I forgot her name. Anyway, Grimmy herself. Oh, let me know. And remember, comics are art.